Okay, yeah, that says we're live, so I guess we are. And right now, I'm the only one here. Yeah, so if we don't get anybody else in here, it's gonna be a short show. But yeah, didn't have a show last week. YouTube decided they wanted to give me a channel strike and not tell me why. But what else is new? All they told me was something about an election, and they wouldn't tell me anything else. Removed one of the streams from like a year or so ago. No idea what was said in the video. Was supposed to have gotten a chance to review the video. Didn't get a chance to. YouTube being YouTube. What are you going to do? So, yeah, that's why there was no show last week. So, yep. And we've had a question out there from Mr. Woods wanting to know about MagFet shotguns. Gizzard's out there in chat, says he'll be in a bit. Okay, thank you, Gary. And I told him that I have a Vepr 12, and he's wondering if his aversion to that is just him or any of the less high-end ones run well, Vepr, Sega, etc. I've had no issues with my Vepr 12. It runs fine. If Kingpin's still out there, he's held it. He could tell you it is a heavy beast when it's unloaded. That thing is built off of an RPK receiver, so it's got some weight to it. With Sagas, the couple that I have shot that other people owned weren't bad. The ones that are coming out now, the copies of the clones, whatever you want to call them, I haven't shot any of those, so I can't give any solid information on those, to be honest with you. I've seen fairly decent reviews on them, but actually having handled one, I have not. So firsthand experience, I can't give you any information on it. Sorry about that. One thing you want to keep in mind with any of the box-fed magazine shotguns, you do have to cycle the ammunition through them more regularly than you would with a standard box magazine for, say, a handgun or a rifle. Because of the shells being plastic, they can deform. So you're what says he's heard the clones from Turkey are bad. See, I've heard other people say that the one they had was good. So, like I said, I really can't give you any first-hand information, just what's out there on the internet as far as that's concerned. So, but yeah, like I was saying, with the box-fed shotguns, you do have to cycle that ammunition more because of them being the shells being plastic. That they can be deformed over time from the pressure from the spring pushing them up against the bottom of the chamber when the bolt's closed. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably cycle your ammunition once a month or so. It's generally what I do. If I have the magazines loaded, I'll cycle the rounds like once a month. And even if they do deform a little, they're still fine to use in like a pump gun after that. So don't necessarily throw them away, but don't put them back into the shotgun again. You know the box fed one. I don't know if they would run right in a standard tube fed semi-auto but I know from my own experience that one that got a little bit deformed from being in the box mag did run fine in my wife's old 870. So there is that as well. So just another piece of info, and it definitely should work fine in a single shot or a double barrel. So, but that's what I got as far as the detachable box mags. My Vepr 12 runs fine. Sega 12s that I've shot ran fine. The new clones, the ones from like JTS, like Woods mentioned, or Kalashnikov USA, whatever, and there's a couple other ones too out there. I can't think of them right now, but I haven't shot any of those personally, so I really don't have any firsthand experience to give you. So I hope that helped you out there, Woods, and answered your questions on that. They're fun. Like I said, any semi-auto, you're not going to feel as much recoil as what you would with, say, a pump gun or a double barrel or single shot. And that Vepr 12, the muzzle brake that I got on that thing kicks just slightly more than what a 7.62 does, to be perfectly honest with you. And we're using a 2 3/4 inch buckshot shell out of that. Doesn't recoil. The recoil doesn't feel anywhere near as bad. Yeah, that's one thing you got to watch when you get into those more budget shotguns. Some are good, some are bad. You know, it's the nature of the beast, I guess, with that. $130 new, yeah. So at that point, I think I would just go with a Maverick 88 if I was getting one that low, to be honest with you. At least those are a known commodity, you know. Now, some of the other Turkish shotguns, on the other hand, are really good. You got some of the higher, mid-tier, not low end, but mid-tier ones. They can be really good. And who is it? ATI? No, God damn it. The ones that the company owns Rock Island, the shotguns that they produce are supposed to be pretty good too. And those ones don't break the bank. So if you were looking for a more budget-minded shotgun, those are supposed to be pretty good too. The ones that look kind of like an AR shotgun. Where is it? I can't think of the name of it right now. Oh, now I gotta look it up. I don't want to, but I guess I can. Damn, I wish I could remember what the hell the name of the thing was. And I bet you none of it's going to show it. It really helps if you can remember the name of things when you're looking for stuff. Now I can't find it. Getting everything but what I'm looking for. If I looked on a store, I could probably find it. That would help. Let me try that. Oh, man. I'm tired, folks. It's been a long day, so bear with me here. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do the show tonight. I've been running fever off and on all day. So, I think it's my sinuses. Oh, somebody popping in here onto the panels. Hello, Kingpin.
Yo.
You don't remember the name of that one AR looking shotgun that Rock Island, their parent company, makes by any chance? Do you? I'm trying to remember the name of it and I can't think of it. It's driving me nuts.
Are you taking English lessons from Rick's life? Say that in English, please.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the shotgun that looks like an AR-15 that's made by the parent company of Rock Island Armory?
No.
They say it's been a long day, man.
No, I used to get all my shotgun information from Clover back in the day. And then after Clover, that guy Nighthawk Medic used to put out a lot of shotgun videos. But
I think I
other than
may have.
that, I don't know anything about shotguns.
I found it. It is Rock Island. It's the VR80. I found. Thank you for Palmetto State Armory.
I knew it had an 80 in it somewhere. I was
Yeah,
thinking
so did I.
180.
I just could not remember what the rest of it was. I'm like, it's 80 something. But yeah, they're supposed to be fairly decent shotguns, if I remember correctly, from what Clover and a couple of other guys have said. So, and I don't think they cost a whole lot. Palmetto has like none of them. Palmetto doesn't seem like they have any shotguns in stock right now. Holy Christ. I'm going through their whole inventory and they're out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock.
And is it hunting season?
No. Well, certain states it'll be small game.
Right, yeah. I guess a lot of dudes hunt birds and stuff with shotguns.
Yeah, it's like most of their magazine, Tatchwell box mag shotguns, Palmetto State is out of.
And I also would
Oh,
imagine that
but
John Q. Public thinks, it's time for me to get a gun. A 12 gauge shotgun is probably one of the first thing that's going to pop into somebody's head.
yeah, Palmetto does have one of the VR80s in stock. It is $600, so it's not going to break the bank. That's not too bad of a price for one, and it's got good reviews on there. So if you're looking for a semi-auto one, Panzer arms are cheap. I don't know how good they are. I've never used one, but they got one of them for $350. That's one of the ones that looks like an AR-15 as well. So again, I can't vouch for them as far as their reliability or anything. I don't know. I've never used one. But compare them to the Tavor 12 gauge, and you're looking at $1,300 for one of those. So big difference in price. That's not a detachable box mag, but it's still a fairly interesting concept. That's one that has the integral drum magazine on it. Buck says he wants a 410 in an AR-15 style. Why not just get an AR-15 at that point? I guess if you're going to shoot, I mean, really, I don't know. I don't get the 410 in that format, but I guess that a 410 buck shot holds what? Double up buck, 3 or 4 pellets.
I can grab a box of it and find out if you
want me to. Do you have any? I don't have. I don't have any so I can't check.
I know I got some. I just don't know how far buried it is.
It's been forever since I shot any of that. I haven't had a 410 in forever. Buck says yeah, so 3 or 4 buck says yeah.
So what are we looking for in 410?
Double up buck. I think it's either 3 or 4 with a double up buckshot.
I got 410 and 3-inch buckshot, 9 pellets. It says 4 buck.
Okay, that's number 4 buck. Number
That's
4
9
buck.
pellets.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't think I have any double up.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of how small a 410 shell is, right? If that were a 12 gauge, it would be 9 rounds of double aught buck, not number 4. That's how small a 410 shell is.
Yeah, 11/16 ounces, 6 shot. The half ounce is 8 shot. Yeah, I don't have any double. Oh well. And I can't. All this is nice because it's fun ammo to shoot, but technically I can't shoot it at my range because it's buckshot.
That number 4 out of a 410 would probably be. I wouldn't want to get hit with that.
Well, it tears up the backstops for the targets.
Yeah.
So they don't want you destroying the range with buckshot.
No, I mean as a defensive round. So,
oh yeah, yeah.
Well, 410. Wood says a 410 slug is interesting. You might as well just get a 45 Colt rifle. To be perfectly honest with you.
Oh shit. I got lucky and it was in the first ammo can that I grabbed.
Mm-hmm. I never really got the point of a slug in a 410. It just, what are you going to shoot with it? I mean, 410 is generally a light hunting shotgun. So, what do you need a slug in that for? I mean, you're not going to go deer hunting with it, really. So, 410 is more of a small game hunting weapon. As far as that's concerned, I just never got the point of a slug. Like I said, you're better off getting a lever gun in 45 Colt than using a 410 of a slug, to be perfectly honest. You're going to get higher velocities and whatnot.
Yeah, I imagine a 410 slug will kill anything that you want to kill.
Yeah, but there's better options.
Well, sure, but if you're a 15-year-old kid stomping out in the woods and you want to pop off a few squirrels, a 410 will work just as well as it will in the same box that you see.
Hold on, take over for a minute. I think I gotta kill a cat. I'll be right back.
410 will put that cat right to sleep.
Yeah, it would.
And have plenty of juice left on the other end. You line 3 or 4 cats up for that. Works well on rich people, that's for sure. You know, put a hole right in that 3-piece suit. Who was buying a shotgun? Are you buying a shotgun, Woods? Yeah, whoever breaks in my door can. Yep, that's for sure. Mag fed shotgun. I don't mind. I like the idea of the mag fed shotgun. You know, I think they're pretty cool. But I'm also just gonna be playing at the range with it. So I'm not like worried about hunting or target shooting or any of that kind. I'd just be having fun with it. But I like as long as they work. Like I said, that Nighthawk Medic guy put out a lot of videos about shotguns, and there was one that I really liked and I was gonna buy, and then I got distracted and never bought it. And I can't remember which one it is now. Do you like the mag fed ones, Woods, or do you prefer, break action and tube fed and all that other kind of stuff, pump action or whatever they call it? A dozen or so. I've got 2 shotguns that I can, well, 3 shotguns. I got a 410 and then 2 12 gauges. And then I got another older 12 gauge, which needs a lot of work. Right, that's more of a sentimental gun than anything I'm worried about taking to the range. Reloading for shotgun next. I imagine you can get pretty creative loading a shotgun. I think I'm too far to even like MagFed. You know, if you were going to say that we had to vote and either what we'll call traditional shotguns or mag-fed shotguns had to disappear, I'd vote for mag-fed shotguns to disappear. What's happening, Gary?
Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that. You there, Gary?
Might still be tuning up in the back. Sometimes it takes a while before the mic and everything catches up.
So what were we talking about here?
Still mag-fed shotguns versus traditional shotguns.
Yeah, MagFed. This beyond. They're all MagFed. They're just different types of MagFed.
Oh,
But the box MagFed. Yeah, they could be a little more finicky than your standard tube fed and whatnot. But again, that comes down to making sure a lot of times that you're cycling the ammo properly. Like I was saying earlier, if you don't, they may not feed properly because they can deform under the pressure of the spring in the magazine and whatnot. So you do, like I was saying earlier, want to cycle those. Whereas with the tube fed shotgun, you don't necessarily have that same issue because they're not being squeezed up against the bottom of that bolt. You know what I mean? So you don't have that issue as much.
How long has the mag-fed box mag been a thing? Is it relatively new, or has it been around since John Brown?
They've been around for a while. I mean, at least the 70s that I know of, that I can think. You got the Saiga came out a while ago with the Soviets. I mean, that goes all the way back to the Soviet Union.
Or are we also talking about semi-automatic mag-fed or pump action?
Oh, the Saiga is a semi-auto.
Sorry about that.
It happens. How are
I
you
couldn't
doing tonight?
hear. I couldn't hear a thing. I just kept hearing like chirps and stuff, and it's like, is there audio buggy? And then I tested the audio. It's like, nope, it's my end.
Oh man, that sucks. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, okay. Just having kind of a blah day.
Yeah, I've been running fever off and on all day myself. So
You
I
ever
know how
have
that
a
goes.
day where just nothing seems to go right? That's
Been there, done
about
that.
like that cartoon with the guy with the cloud, over his head that follows him wherever he goes. That's me. I just need to get over it.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on the mag-fed shotguns?
Not a fan of them personally, but although I've never actually shot one, but it's like a solution for a problem that didn't really exist to me.
The only there's advantages to it, but there's advantages to the tube fed that you can't do with the mag fed. So the mag fed you can reload it a lot faster, right?
Yeah, but who needs to shoot 10,000 rounds of shotgun shells? I mean,
well, you got to remember they were originally developed by the Soviet Union for combat purposes.
Right.
So if you're in combat and you're using a shotgun to clear a building or whatnot, being able to reload that magazine quickly, that could be a benefit to you. So,
well, they've got all these shotguns that have like 3 barrels on them, 4 barrels, tubes in each that hold 4 or 5 shells. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. And I hate to be the old, I hate the old fogey that comes in the chat. It's like, hey, you don't need this stuff, but that's kind of the route I'm taking here. I hate it. The only thing I've heard about them personally is that they tend to have reliability issues. feeding wise sometimes.
Yeah, I was getting to that, Woods, but like Woods brings up about how with a pump you can, but keep in mind you can't just say pump because there are pumps now that take the box mag. Not Winchester. Remington has one in the 870 line. Mossberg has them in the 500 and the 590 lines. Black Aces Tactical makes them. There's a couple other companies that I can't think of right now that also have them. So even you can even get pumps now that have the detachable box magazine. But I get what you mean. You're talking about the pump with the tube magazine, and that's what I was getting to. That was going to be my point about them. A benefit that they have is that you can top it off without having to reload a complete magazine. You can switch a round. They say you got a buckshot round loaded in there. You have a spot empty in the tube. You can fit in a slug in there, pop out that buckshot, and boom, you can fire off your slug if you need it for whatever reason. So that's the advantage with tube fed. So there are pros and cons to each. You just have to weigh which one's going to fit your needs better for a certain given situation.
Well, the thing is, especially when you're talking about home defense, you don't know what your needs are until you know.
Right.
Hopefully, you don't have to clear your house with a dozen people in there, because that'd be a house I think I'd just let them have.
Evening, Gary. Evening, Buck.
Hey, Buck.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Isn't the biggest problem with the box fed semi-automatic shotgun the reliability of the feeding? Isn't it always been a feeding issue?
It can be. And depending, and going back to the Vepr 12, they have a break-in period where you need to put so many rounds of buckshot through it before you even want to try and put birdshot, or else the birdshot may not work properly.
Well, I think all that leans to Gary's original point with the answer to the question nobody asked. If a box-fed semi-automatic shotgun has existed for as long as it has, and has as many potential benefits as it does, why haven't they made a good one yet?
Oh, they have. I mean, the Vepr 12 is very good. It's just you got to run so many rounds of buck through it before it'll end a birdshot, because it's got the self-regulating gas system. Whereas the Saiga, you can change the gas settings and you can run birdshot right out of the gate with that, because you can manually adjust the gas settings. So I mean, they do run. And like I was saying, most of the issues you're going to find with them is going to be some way or another mag related. Just like with most other guns that have feeding issues, it's generally going to be a mag related issue at most times. And when you get to one of the mag fed shotguns, it's going to be the same thing.
And Gabriel made a good point. The mags are humongous.
Yes, they are. That's the one issue with them, is the mag. They do have fairly large magazines.
Hell, 30-round magazine, you probably have two people to hold that bitch up.
Well, no, if you're going 30 rounds, you're using a drum.
Well, you still need someone on the front end to hold it up.
Then you got to deal with drum mag reliability, which is notoriously bad. So,
well, the drums with those they work fairly well, because they don't hold as many rounds as what the rifle ones do. Like a rifle, you'll get 75, 100 rounds in a drum. With a shotgun, you get 20, 25 in a drum.
I just want to see the man that's going to sit there and shoot 30 shotgun shells. That's, you have to put ice on that shoulder after.
I've seen people do it.
It wouldn't be me.
You'd be surprised how little recoil you actually can get out of a Saiga 12 or a Vepr 12 after you put a muzzle brake on one of those things, because the gas system and everything, they really tone down the recoil. It's nowhere near as bad as what you would say with a pump shotgun or a single or double barreled shotgun. And Kingpin is held by Vepr 12. That thing's got some weight to it.
How much does it weigh?
Oh, it weighs a good bit.
Yeah, I'll bet it does.
Is that unloaded or loaded?
Unloaded. Unloaded, that
unloaded.
Thing. Yeah, the thing weighs a good 9-10 pounds unloaded.
Yeah, no, I couldn't hold that up.
It's built off of a machine gun receiver.
Oh,
Built
Lord,
on
I
the
know I
same
can't hold
receiver
that up.
as the. Yeah, it's built on the same receiver as the Russian RPK machine gun is. And it's got like a muzzle brake. Looks like it came off of a freaking tank on the front of it.
Well, if somebody handed me that, the first thing I would do would drop to the ground. Just to act like I know what the hell I'm doing, and I'll start shooting it in the prone position.
Well, you put a sling on it. You put the sling over your left shoulder to help hold the front end up, and it helps a lot with holding
Yeah, no.
No.
I'm with Buck. I'm laying down.
that. Man, you guys want to make it in World War II.
I'm quite aware of that. I'm not exactly soldier age or shape.
Thing weighs about the same as what a Garen did. Those guys were running all over the beaches and everything
You
carrying
don't
those.
see me shooting them either down
They were about 30, 40 years younger too.
hmm
Not everybody.
And weren't given a choice for the most part.
I don't know about y'all, but I have never in my whole life ever shot a semi-automatic shotgun. I have always shot pump shotguns. That's all I have ever had.
The only
Semi-auto is
time
a
I've ever shot one is at SHOT Show at the range day. I've never owned one or had a buddy that had one. I do have a buddy that has one, but I never shot it.
semi-auto is a different animal.
I have never shot one, and probably ain't never thinking about it. I just like my pump shotguns.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
get
do
the
too. I mean, I'm old school. That's what we grew up with. I learned how to shoot with one. I've
That
got
or a single shot.
I got two of them. I got single shots. Got two single shots also. Yeah.
semi-autos have been around for a long time.
Yeah, so have nukes too. I don't own any of those either.
Semi-auto is a much different animal than a pump or a single shot.
Semi-autos tend to be sensitive to the. I mean, they can't handle light loads very well, is my understanding.
Yeah, depending on what shotgun. Yeah, they tend to like the heavier.
I don't like. If I'm in a crisis situation, I don't want something that's going to be finicky. I want to know for a fact it's going to work.
Well, most of your in that situation, you're going to be using either a slug or a buckshot, and they're going to handle those just fine. Where you run into issues is the lighter birdshot loads.
Well, if anybody comes in, tries to get into my apartment, and it takes more than one or two shots of buckshot to put them down, I'm probably a goner anyways.
Yeah, at that point, I'm gonna help them start picking stuff out. Be like, hey, did you see this over here? This is some really nice stuff of mine. Make sure you take it with you.
Hey, looking at that cushion over there, I think there's some money.
Let me get my wallet.
Let me keep my shoes, and then I'll drive you to your getaway spot and just walk home from there.
Krabby's out there in the chat. Did you go through the chat about who was out there yet, Kingpin?
You want me to?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, let's see. Let's scroll on back to the top.
I didn't know if you did that while I was away or not. So.
We got Woods checking in. Let's see. Gizzard Gary's out there and here, as Travis likes to say. Same with Buck. Let's see. We had Two Live Moo in the house. What's going on, Mr. Moo? Jason Stewart checking in. Mr. Ozzy Orsborn himself. M. Gabriel, the one and only. And then we got Krabby Turtle checking in.
All right. And I think Moo has a link, and Jason said he was on his way home from work. So, yes, that's why he hasn't been able to jump in yet. So, if those guys want to jump in when they get a chance, they're more than welcome in here. Yeah, they both know that already anyway.
So, do you have any teams in the NCAA tournament still, Rich? Or
I don't even watch basketball.
yeah, you don't watch basketball? Okay. I don't watch basketball, but I look at the scores. How about that? If it gets
No, I
closer
don't.
to the Final Four, I'll start watching basketball.
I just don't even care about that sport. My youngest daughter used to play basketball, and I barely went to any of her games. I just cannot stand basketball. I will fall asleep watching basketball. I will
College basketball, I'll watch now. Pro basketball really doesn't interest me in the least.
When I was a kid, I used to love to watch professional basketball. I was a big Larry Bird, Boston Celtics fan. But I agree with Gary. As I got older, I loved the college basketball, and I just couldn't stomach watching an NBA game. It was like two different games. The NBA games are just not interesting whatsoever.
That's my experience also. Yeah, the game is just more fun on the college level. The timing, the way they play, it's just more interesting to me. The only thing I don't like is these kids that play a year and decide, "Hey, I'm gonna go pro now." Thanks for the money to go to college, but I'm not gonna go ahead and finish that degree.
Oh hell, you get the same that in football too anymore.
Yeah, that's
Guys go to college
crazy.
1 or 2 years and then go in the NFL.
By golly, if somebody gives you money to go to college, you ought to have to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm old school, so what can I say?
Oh, I agree completely.
The older I get, the more and more I sound like the old men that used to sit on the bench, on the downtown and talk about how the world was going to pot. Starting to find out they were not incorrect.
I found out something too going to one of my daughter's basketball games. It was probably a good idea that I didn't go to more games because one game I almost got thrown out of because I was ready to beat the crap out of the referee.
Oh, yeah, that'll get you in trouble.
The ref was calling fouls left and right on my daughter's team. It didn't call a single foul on the other team the entire game, and they were just playing dirty. The ref wasn't watching the game. I don't know what the hell the ref was watching. And me and the coach the coach did get ejected, and I almost got ejected. So. I got up and I walked out and walked out in the hall for a few minutes. Came back in and sat down. If I wouldn't have, I probably would have said something that little kids shouldn't have heard somebody saying. Just put it that way.
And if it's like around here, you would have been invited to leave the arena and also to never come back.
Yeah. Which wouldn't have been very good because this was at my kid's school and I was one of the designated chaperones for like school trips and stuff. So yeah. I figured at that point discretion was the better part of valor, and I might as well just go out in the hallway for a little bit.
You did the right thing. You did.
Yeah.
It's okay to think it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if I'd have said what I was thinking, the guy probably would have had a heart attack.
Well, I think that's true of a lot of things. It's kind of like the movie Liar, Liar,
Mm-hmm.
You remember that one?
Uh-huh. Yeah, this might be the first hockey season since I started watching hockey and stuff that I haven't watched a single game.
I haven't watched any either. But my nearest team is like 6 hours away, so
Nearest to you is what, the Blues?
yeah.
Yeah, they ain't doing that great this year anyway.
If I had to root for a team, yeah, it'd be either the Blues or probably the Avalanche. That'd be the next nearest team, probably.
Dallas.
No way. Not a big
Chelsea,
Dallas
Oklahoma
Stars
don't
fan.
have one.
Well, that's possible. I don't know. I don't know if Snob played high school hockey. I'm having trouble seeing him in a hockey uniform, although that would be cool.
I played hockey, but we've had that discussion before.
Now
The
I can
United-
see Snob. I can see Snob being a referee in a hockey match for one of the kids' games.
Could you see
Out
him
there
being
skating
graceful
around
on a
like-
pair of skates? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
No. No, the United States is getting its own cricket team.
Why?
What?
That's a game I never could
Does,
understand.
does anybody in this country even play cricket?
They're going to
What
be
the
the
hell is
Washington.
cricket?
They're going to be the Washington Freedom.
Oh God.
When I was overseas in England, they were playing cricket out on the lawn outside one of the castles I visited. And I'm like, I don't even understand the rules of your game.
Now, rugby, I could see them getting a team, but cricket? Does anybody in this country even play cricket? I have never gone to a park or anywhere and seen anybody playing cricket in this country.
No, I have seen some of the bigger cities have rugby clubs and stuff like that. It's not official, but yeah, they play.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know there are places where they play rugby and stuff in the U.S. I've seen rugby games in the U.S. There's certain colleges that have rugby teams where they play intramural rugby and stuff. So I can see the potential to do a rugby team, but I totally don't get the cricket part of it. It just doesn't make any sense.
I didn't know that water polo was a high school sport in some areas of the country, but evidently it is.
Yeah, it is.
We have been joined by Mr. Burnaby Sanchez, Mr. Uplift Party Plan Mofo, and celebrity guest of the evening, Mr. Knives, has joined the chat.
Chocolate.
Somebody hide the chocolate. Knives is going to eat it all. Hey, Jason.
What's up, Jason?
Hi guys, what's going on?
Not too much. Wood says in Portland they play cricket. Well, Portland, Oregon is Portland, Oregon, so I'm not the least bit surprised. Them weirdos. He says Portland has cricket and rugby, but no baseball. Maybe a rugby bat's easier to break windows with. I don't know.
We had a golf team in high school.
Yeah, we had golf in high school. We had golf, bowling, tennis.
Wait. Did you just say that there's a bat that rugby players get to use?
It's like it's flat instead
So
of being
wicket,
round like
isn't
a.
It's called
Huh?
a wicket, isn't it?
Might be. I don't know. I started referred to as a cricket bat before.
But it looks
No,
like a paddle. More
Yeah, it
than
looks like a
That's what
paddle.
I was going to say. A paddle I used to get in school all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's about the length of a baseball bat, but it's like it's more flat than a
Guys.
baseball bat.
You said rugby bat.
Oh, did we say rugby? Say
Yeah,
cricket.
that's what I'm sitting here thinking. There's no way that you gave those 400-pound monsters a bat too.
That would be funny.
that
as hell.
would be cool.
Yeah, that would be funny as hell. Rugby with a bat.
Yeah, man, I was shocked. I was like, I thought that I've seen rugby on like the TV and the internet before, and I don't remember those monsters carrying bats around.
No, that's the referee, so they can break up those scrums. Referee
Hey,
batting
hey,
people in the head.
Hey, I got a question. Rugby is that game we used to play in high school, ain't it? Or when in school, Smear the
It-
queer.
Something along those
Basically-
lines.
Basically, yeah.
Similar. Yeah.
What's going on, Jason?
Rugby's actually pretty cool.
You ever see that Australian rules football on
Yeah.
TV? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
They used to carry that on ESPN before they started getting the bigger named US sports back
It's
in the
kind
day
of
when
like a
ESPN was
combination
first around.
between football and rugby.
Basically, yeah.
I still think they need to come up with like street jousting with little Honda cars and pistols.
Doing the Tokyo Drift.
Baltimore would win every year, Jason.
Yeah, Baltimore been practicing for a while, ain't they?
Yeah, they are already pro. They've gone pro and they're just amateur. Well, Chicago might give them a run for the money.
LA.
You guys know I'm gonna have to make a video about street jousting tomorrow. Last time we talked about the burnout sessions with the guns. YouTube deleted my video. So they're listening to us. Don't forget, somebody's gonna steal our idea again.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Krabby's asking, cricket's the one that can go on for days with triple-digit scores? I have no idea.
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, the only thing I know about cricket is what the bat looks like. Yeah, I think they call the pitcher the bowler or some shit. Other than that, don't ask me. I know nothing about that sport.
Now, what I think is a cool sport is like curling. You see
Yeah.
that on the Olympics and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they take that big old rock and they
Mm-hmm.
scoot it down the ice, and then somebody takes a broom and sweeps in front of it and stuff. They all get down on the floor and blow. And
Yeah. There's a lot of strategy involved in curling.
Pickleball is the latest craze around here. All the neighborhoods that I work in, they build pickleball courts, and there's big citywide pickleball leagues and big facilities and stuff. Pickleball, man.
well, they've got pickleball at the rec center I go to here in this little town. You can go get involved in that. It's like, yeah. I don't know. I don't like hitting pickles. That seems messy to me.
And my kids, when they were little, there was a channel that was called Hub back in the day, and then it became Discovery Kids. But they had this game show on there for families where you would go on there and you would play games based on board games and stuff. And one of the games they had was called Sorry Sliders. It looked like big giant pieces from the Sorry board game, but you played it like you would curling, right? So my kid, we watched that all the time. And then we were watching the Winter Olympics. We were waiting for one of the Olympic hockey games to come on. And curling was on. My kids were like, that's like that Sorry Sliders game. It's like, yeah, that's probably where they got the idea for the Sorry Sliders game was curling. But it was just like curling, the way you scored and everything in the game.
It's basically shuffleboard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Instead of a triangle, you're going for a bullseye.
Yeah. Kind of a combination between horseshoes and shuffleboard.
Well, I thought you were going to say cornhole.
I have played that.
Yeah, I have too. I like that game. What the hell is pickleball?
I have no idea.
It's like somebody explained it to me. It's like ping pong, but you play it on a badminton court.
Yeah, you play it on like a small tennis court, and you're hitting like a wiffle ball. Like, remember the plastic baseballs with the holes in it, the wiffle balls?
Yeah.
You're hitting that with like a ping pong paddle.
What the hell?
Okay.
It's like everything wussy you could imagine rolled up into one.
I was worried that I didn't know Pickles had balls there for a while.
It's,
I was
it's
wondering.
like, you're walking around the high school with your letter jacket. Hey, what'd you letter in? Pickleball. Oh, wow. You'd
Have
have
you
all
ever
the girls for
you
sure.
ever watched a competitive badminton game before?
We used to have some competitive badminton games when we was kids, by golly.
Man, those people. You think John McEnroe was bad back in the day? Watch a competitive badminton game one time. Just watch them people go off on the ref is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the only thing about badminton, when you want to hit somebody with one and you go really to go swing at it, the bitch gets stuck up in your racket.
Uh-huh.
That used to
Krabby
make me
Turtle
mad.
brought up disc golf. Yeah, we used to play with frisbees all the time. Never
Oh,
knowed
yeah,
there's a
frisbee
damn
golf.
game you could play with.
We used to play frisbee football in gym class. That's fun trying to play football with a frisbee. Especially with the way if you throw a frisbee the wrong way and it comes back to you.
Somebody probably that couldn't afford a tea time or whatever at the local country club said, "Hey, let's just create a course with a bunch of chain, nets, and we'll just play with frisbees, and we won't have to have a tea time, and it'll be free."
Man, I got this hockey net. We got a frisbee.
I can't imagine that game would be much fun when it's windy out. You think golf is hard when it's windy? Try throwing a frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
Long range shooting is just like golf, but for real men.
And
And
that's
there's
what I heard.
people like 22 Plinkster. I've seen him take a golf ball and set it out on the grass and then hit it with a 22 and it'd go flying. That'd be a way to combine your sports now. Could, improve your target accuracy and, get 9 holes in at the same time. Don't know if the country clubs would opt in for that or not, but hey. No, kids don't play tackle football in the backyard. Somebody could get hurt.
Damn. Jason, you going to make me go dig a hole out there, put a little flag up, plant some nice grass out there, and shoot a damn golf ball with my 22.
Stick ball on the road. Hell, we used to play football out in the street when I was growing up.
We did too.
Of course, back then the street was a gravel road, and occasionally somebody'd yell car, and we'd all have to get over the side of the road and let them pass. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to play wiffle ball in the road, football, street hockey.
Yeah, Buck. You don't have to dig a hole. You make a hole with a 12 gauge shotgun. You deer slug out a hole, and then you shoot the golf ball for 22, try to make it go in the hole.
you can make
Yeah.
a pretty decent hole in the ground with a shotgun.
Hell, I can do that from a window here.
Now you can use an AR-15, but that's only for chip shots.
Hell, y'all got me thinking I might have a new sport coming up.
223 round might destroy a golf ball.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta hit it at the bottom. Just
Oh,
put a little
okay.
English on it. Just
You got to be a
chip
good shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick it.
Nick it good.
Yeah, just like they used to do, make that cue ball, jump over the balls, and hit the next one.
I used
Yeah.
to be able to do that back in the day. I was actually fairly decent at pool in my day because I hung out at the local tavern.
Yeah, me too. But that's been many, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That and bowling.
Bowling, yeah, I used to bowl on
Yeah.
2 leagues back in the day.
Yeah. My wife keeps playing. I want to go bowling. It's like I can't bowl right now.
We don't even have a bowling alley here anymore. They all closed.
We got one. I'm
Yeah.
surprised we got one.
I think we got a couple of them around here, I think, still open.
You also don't hear kids roller skating anymore. We used to do that.
Oh man, my wife tried to get me to go roller skating. I said, "Ain't no way in hell I'm putting them skates on." I said, even though my insurance is paid up, no.
No, but as a kid, you're not near as likely to break bones as you are an adult.
I know I don't heal up as quick as I used to.
Yeah, nowadays that ain't happening. Not unless I get to sit down.
Man, last time I put on a pair of skates, my leg hurt so goddamn bad. I wanted to run the rink once and got right off.
You hurt yourself playing Wii, for God's sake.
Okay.
You don't have any business doing that.
Yeah, and I got the brace on my arm to prove it.
BB gun wars. No, had bottle rocket fights every once in a while when it was around 4th of July time. Everybody had bottle
Yeah, we had
rockets.
them.
And
Yeah.
they were still legal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably
No.
why they're not legal anymore.
When I was in junior RTC, we had pellet gun fight. We went playing war games with pellet guns. Why? Because we were stupid.
No, Krabby. I did. Well, we did have a sock op when I was in high school. It was kind of a 60s vintage thing.
Yeah, we did. We had those when I was in high school.
Yeah, I've been to a
Yeah.
few of those. Oh yeah.
I might have hopped around looking for my socks a few times, but we won't go there.
Yeah, fundraisers and stuff. When I was in high school, we'd put on like different like sock hops, oldies type dances and stuff. Raise money and sell tickets to our parents and stuff, and then you'd have parents and students all showing up for the dance in the high school gym. Of course, the high school gym where I went to high school was like you could divide that thing into 6 basketball courts. Our gym was freaking huge.
Ours was tiny. We had an old high school that was built in 1923, and the basketball court was in the basement underneath the auditorium, and it had supports that were just right outside the sidelines of the court. They actually had to have padding on these columns. So there's a good deal of the people in the stands that couldn't see because there's a big old column in their way.
Yeah, where I went to high school, it was an old high school, but like 5 years before I got into high school, they built a whole new athletics building for the high school and connected it to the high school with a tunnel. The old gym is what we were using for our junior RTC room. It would have been the small 1-court gym like what you're talking about. But when they built that new building, you literally could have split our gym into 6 separate basketball courts.
They tried for years and years to pass a bond issue to build us a new school when I was young, and it never passed.
The first floor of the athletics building was the gym. The ceiling was like 50 feet high. So there was no way you were hitting the ceiling with a basketball. And right below when you went down the stairs, that's where the locker rooms were. And then you had the swimming pool, which was an full-size Olympic-size swimming pool underneath the gym. Then you had separate locker room for the football team. The visitors used the gym locker room, and then the home team, we used the actual football locker room. Then we had a weight room and a separate room for like exercise equipment, like the exercise bikes, the rowing machines, that kind of stuff. And then you had the girls' locker rooms that were all the way on the other side of all that stuff. It was a fairly nice building that they built for the athletics department at the high school. knives, slingshots, yeah, the pocket rockets and whatnot.
What's Mr. Jason Stewart's opinion on the traditional reverse box fed semi-automatic shotguns?
Oh, I think it's hard to go wrong for good old pump action. But I'm not really the one to say. I don't have any shotguns, but I used to. But I never had a auto one before. So I don't know. When I think of shotgun, I think of a pump shotgun.
Yeah, like I was telling them earlier, that's all I ever used was a pump shotgun.
I think at some point or another, I've used a single shot, double barrel, pump, and semi-auto. I haven't used a drum-fed shotgun though. You know, like the one that South American one or South African one that got banned, and then you got the new Tavor one, which is drum too. Yeah, bullpup drum fed that they have based on the Tavor. Things are expensive. $1,300 for one of those things.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna go to was it Bear Creek Arsenal's got them, I believe. The 410 uppers for the ARs
Yeah, I think so.
for about three something.
So I use a standard AR lower.
Yeah. Standard AR lure. You have to get different mags, of course.
Oh yeah.
But hell, something to play around out here on the range with. It'd be fun. Get one about 7.5 inches long.
I don't know if that would be legal. Without a tax stamp, anyway.
Yeah, I don't even think they make them like that. I know the longest one I've seen was 16 inch. Was just the first one I looked at, trying to get a price on them. Well, I don't know. They might have to be 18 inches being a shotgun, wouldn't they? Or would they?
Unless they can somehow make them to where they take 45 Colt and have it where it's rifled. That's how they got around that with the Taurus Judge. How long's the barrel on a circuit Judge?
The circuit Judge I got, I think, is 18. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 18. So the shortest barrel for the hang on, I could probably look it up. Probably be easier. But I think it is 18 inch.
Let's see here. Yeah, 18 inch on the Rossi circuit Judge. I guess because they put a stock on it, it's got to have the 18-inch barrel.
Yeah, both of the uppers here I see for the 410 are 20-inch. One's threaded and one's unthreaded. Well, both of them unthreaded barrels.
I don't know how much a 20-inch barrel is going to help a 410, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I could have sworn they had more, though. Could have sworn I seen them like either 16 or 18-inch. But it looked like they only had 2 of them in stock.
Circuit Judge without the stock would be cool, with a shorter barrel.
Yeah, they ain't bad. I got one. I like mine. A lot of people say they don't like them. Well, I got something I can shoot 45 Colt out of. I don't want to piss nobody off and say long Colt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You get Tony in there.
I ain't seen Tony in a while.
Yeah, I've seen him. Well, I haven't seen him. I talked to him. Oh, just yesterday morning, I think. I think he was
Yeah.
in
Yeah, he was on
Travis'
California's chat.
yeah.
Me and Travis were lighting him up, talking about fudding out and sportering out revolvers and old Colt Navies with
Oh
red
yeah,
dots.
yeah. Yeah, I remember him saying if Travis did something, he's gonna come up there and kick his ass or something.
Did you guys see Chris's video? They put a silencer on that Rough Rider
Yeah.
and then
the
wrapped a
tactical
washcloth
cowboy.
around it.
Yeah. The bitch was quiet though.
I told
Yeah,
him
it was
thanks, man.
quiet.
You could tell the difference.
I told him thanks, man. Now we need a tax stamp to buy hand towels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said the towels were like 99 cents plus a $200 tax stamp and a 3-year wait.
Sounds about right. Yeah, but they need to do one of these with a shorter barrel and no stock.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's the same one I got.
Yeah, take the stock, keep the grip, but just make it more of a regular standard pistol grip on there, right? No stock, and cut the barrel where it's like right about there. That'd be cool fun toy to take out to the range.
Patriot in the Dark is with us, and that looks like a my Mini 14.
Yeah, it's the same color and everything I got. Shoots pretty good. 410 shoot pretty damn good out of that bitch. It tear a goddamn milk jug up. How you doing, Patriot?
Hey, Patriot.
Hey, Patriot.
Yeah, that looks just like my Mini 14, man. I wouldn't. It's not my thing, but it's neat looking anyway.
That's one of them times where my wife told me don't go in the store to buy anything. She went in with me. She said, "Oh, we got to have that. That's pretty." I said, "Okay."
I'm thinking about that kind of stuff. We joke around about the abominations, and I have some of my firearms abominations. I think you shouldn't do, but it is pretty cool that, especially like with the social media and friends that we've got from like Snob or Obnoxious, or Chris is really good at it now. Being able to take and make these monstrous guns and big, like, hilarious type of joke guns and just enjoy them, and then have a drawer full of gag guns. I don't know. To me, I just think it's pretty cool that I get to see guys collect guns that they just want to have like pink candy stripes on, and then mount this red dot on the side of it just because. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I got to tell you that 22 Heritage 22, that was the ugly son of a bitch with that goddamn suppressor on it. God. But they did have a fun time doing it, I bet.
Yeah, that tactical cowboy, man,
Yeah.
that's a hard gun to look at, really.
Jason would love the Toro revolvers, Gary.
Yeah,
I
Red
am
dot
going to get me one
revolver.
of them.
they actually aren't bad looking. Sarge has one.
Is that what they are? A red dot ready revolver?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with a scope on a revolver either.
Snubby
It's-
might be a little silly, but
Yeah, but it's just the overall look of that tactical cowboy that's just crazy because, it's a single action type gun, and then they put that rail on the top and threaded the barrel and put fiber optic sights on it. That's just.
it's kind of like a lever gun with a rail.
Mhm.
First
got-
time you see it, it's like that looks out of place, but then people dress it all up, and once it's done, it looks pretty cool. But
They got the Diamondback has the sidekick, the double action, old school style. It's a single action, but it's a double action. In 22.
Yeah, like Wood says, he loves it and he hates it at the same time, equal. That's one of them love-hate relationships there, buddy.
Mhm. He said it's so dumb.
So,
He
yeah.
loves
I shot that sidekick. That thing has a worse trigger. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I heard that too.
It's
So-
horrible.
And that's Diamondback, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Woods, is that kind of like how you get a puppy that's so ugly that it's cute? That same philosophy there?
No, the Altor's just an ugly dog.
Uh,
Half a dog.
I forget what dog it was. My wife's like, I want one. That thing is so ugly that it's cute. I forget what the hell dog it was.
Don't know
Well,
whether
was the
to pet it
closest
or
thing-
feel sorry for it.
Was the closest thing I brought to an Altor was that damn glue gun I got. And I'm trying to figure out how to shoot 22s through that.
They say a single shot shotgun is one thing.
It's a single shot shotgun. You can fire multiple projectiles at once out of it.
I've shot the Altor. You want to talk about your horrible triggers? You don't know what a horrible trigger is till you fired an Altor.
That's the one where you got to let go of the trigger for it to fire, right?
Well, it goes up into the housing and slips. Your finger slips past it, and then that's when the spring takes it back forward. So it's kind of like your finger just slides off and it snaps forward. And that's the way the trigger works.
It's like
Did
a
you-
pop rivet gun.
Did you get a chance to shoot the life card, Gary?
Yeah.
If it's even fair, can you compare the two? I would imagine that the life card has an actual trigger.
The life
So it's
guard
much
does have
better.
an actual trigger, much easier. Other than the fact, well, either one of them, it's so short that you have very little sight radius to play with, or sights. You know, lifeguard has no sights, and the outdoor virtually has no sights. But it's so awkward shooting the outdoor because your inclination, because the grip is so small, is to try to hold onto that grip as hard as you can, but you can't pull your finger back far enough to let the trigger slip off if you've got a good solid grip on there. That's why you saw the snob have it fly. That, you know, Snob had it fly out of his hands that one time. We all made fun of it, but there's really a reason for that. It's just the way that trigger works. It is hard to do.
No, hold on. I got to correct you there. It's not we all made fun. It's we all make fun. We
And I
still
did.
gave him a hard time about that.
I do too. I mean, it's fun to make fun of him, but having had the experience myself, I have a little bit of, you know, empathy for it now. Let's just put it that way.
Well, my point was you used the wrong tense of the verb.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, every so often, one of us still gives him a little shot for that one.
Nobody ever lets anything live down in this community.
Nope. Woods, if it's a true trench gun, yes, they had a bayonet lug on them. They used the same bayonet as the 1906 and the 1917 Enfield that was made for the U.S. by the British. So yeah, you can put a bayonet on the old trench guns if the replica is done properly. I think they also had their own bayonet at one point too.
I think I'm gonna just get me a couple more revolvers this year. I'm getting too damn lazy to go be chasing brass everywhere.
Yeah, with the cost of ammo, you can go kill an hour at a range with a revolver and not have to shoot 300 rounds. But then again, depending on the caliber, you're going to be paying just as much as if you had.
All right, for somebody, my range is outdoors, and in the winter it's cold and windy, and reloading a mag with a glove on is problematic. Reloading a mag with a glove off is problematic. With a revolver is a lot gentler on your hands in the cold weather. As far as reloading goes, anyway.
And it works pretty well if you have a speed loader too.
G23 wants a 40 cal revolver.
You can always get the Smith & Wesson Model 610. It's 10 millimeter and also shoots 40 Smith & Wesson.
But why?
Because
Yeah, but you got to moon clip it, right?
Yeah, you'd
I
have
think
to
it.
moon
Yeah, I think it uses moon clips.
G23, I mean, you guys got to go onto his about page on his channel and read it. He's contractually obligated to say 40 Smith & Wesson at least once in every chat.
I think he's got to be sponsored. You know, one of the companies that's trying to keep selling that stuff is contracted with G23 to promote it in every live stream.
Yeah. See, he's just it's a completely and totally anti Smith & Wesson. He won't even get a Smith & Wesson revolver.
Well,
You know, the Korth is a Smith & Wesson copy.
he's dreaming. I mean, yeah, if you want to get out a few thousand, you can go buy a Korth. Yeah.
Yeah, the Smith & Wesson will cost you maybe 1,000, 1,500. The Korth will cost you 3, 4, 5 times that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that infection's gone to his head.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It's just plastic guns, man. They'll ruin you. I'm telling you.
I'll tell you what, lately I've been carrying that revolver of mine more than I have my 365.
No, jeez. G23's been hanging around Squib too much. He said that's what a credit card's for.
Still eventually got to pay those.
Uh-huh.
That's what I tell my kids. It's like, yeah, it sure seems easy to buy stuff with a credit card, but just remember a bill will be coming in about 30 days.
Oh my! Have you seen? Speaking of credit cards, the latest excuse that the Democrats have been putting out there for increasing the debt ceiling, you got to pay off your credit card debts. So their analogy for increasing the debt ceiling is paying your credit card debt. I guess they didn't get the memo that increasing the debt ceiling is like getting a credit card debt limit increase.
Mm-hmm.
That's not paying your credit card. That's just going more into debt.
It's like paying your credit card off by getting another credit card.
Mm-hmm.
You're just transferring it over from one to another.
Yeah, it's like getting another credit card and transferring your debt over from one credit card to the other. Exactly.
Most people who do that do it to a 0% interest for a year or 2 years. What we're doing, if we're talking about the government, is we're paying it off with another credit card with double the interest rate.
Uh-huh. Sorry, but when the thing about the credit card was brought up, that reminded me of that nonsense. And I've seen quite a few of the Democrats on Twitter say this crap. So it's like, you're out of your damn minds.
Well, if it's on Twitter, it's got to be true.
That's true.
Joe Biden's Twitter account, the black dude in the House that was running for Speaker, he put it on his Twitter account, and I forget who else, but a bunch of the Democrats have been putting that on their Twitter.
Joe Biden don't even know he has a Twitter account.
I know. I have tweeted about Joe Biden's Twitter account actually being run by interns because Joe Biden doesn't know how to use Twitter. Basically, I've become a Twitter troll. Gary has seen some of my Twitter posts. He can vouch for that. When you got nothing to do all day, you end up on Twitter. Troll the hell out of people.
Shit, I can pick a lot of better things to do. Be on Twitter.
Oh, when it's cold outside.
Like
actually take a nap. Yeah.
when it's cold outside and you can't sleep.
Oh, I can sleep.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Put a porn-ass movie on.
I have sleep issues because of other health issues. So
gotta quit playing that Wii, I tell you.
No, this has nothing to do with the Wii.
All right, boys. I gotta go. Y'all have a good one.
Alrighty. Take care.
All right, Kingpin. Nice seeing you.
Kingpin.
Nice talking to you.
Have a good night, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show. See you, everybody in the chat.
Which shotgun was that, Patriot? I'm at a loss here. He's asking if I ever checked out the shotgun. I don't know which one he's referring to. So.
Maybe he sent you a shotgun.
If he sent me a shotgun, I never got it.
Patriot, was that the same one that you showed? Was it on? What the hell's his name? Rick's Life, as I see it. Is that the same one? Because that was a nice looking shotgun.
The one he got his daughter?
Yeah, the one he was looking at. I think it was on Rick's Life, as I see it.
Didn't he get his daughter one and then have it customized if he had a custom fitted to her? Or
I
something?
think so.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
Well, she's doing competitive shotgun shooting stuff, so you pretty much got to at that point. You want to make sure you have it where everything's just right. Yeah, with shotgun shooting, one little thing's off in competitive shooting, and oh yeah, that one. Okay, the copy of the trench gun, but yeah, they forgot to put the bayonet lug on there. And the tube should be a little bit longer, and then have the bayonet lug attached where that front lug is that holds the cap on the front of the mag tube. There should be a bayonet lug right. I believe it would have been right on the bottom of that. There would have been a bayonet lug to attach the bayonet that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, it's a decent shotgun. I can put a screenshot of that, I guess, so everybody can see what one we're talking about.
Yeah, I just checked it out. It looks pretty nice.
That one right there. I think
Right
if
where?
I'm right, the heat shield should be a little bit longer too, because the heat shield should come all the way back to the receiver, right?
Yeah.
If I remember right, on the trench gun, didn't the heat shield come all the way back?
Yeah, maybe that barrel gets thicker right there or something. They couldn't do
Oh,
it.
it should, yeah.
I mean, but for the money, it's not a bad looking shotgun.
So it's Arms Core. Is that
Yeah.
the Filipino stuff? Just like
Yeah,
the bullets?
that's the parent company of Rock Island, and
Are you thinking about getting it, Patriot?
yeah, he's a Patriot out there with the blind guy jokes. He said, "I don't know, I've never seen it."
Got a point.
Yeah. G23 said he was looking at the Chiappa Rhino 40DS with the 4-inch barrel. Oh, now he's hanging out with Yankee.
Too much money for a crappy gun.
Him and Yankee going Bigfoot hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of used ones in the gun shops.
I don't think I've ever seen a Rhino in person.
I have.
I have down at the zoo.
Wrong kind of Rhino there. But
Oh, you talking about the other rhino?
yeah, the
Yeah.
revolver.
I
I've
did
seen them
see
in
one
Congress
my life.
before.
I think they're ugly as shit.
They are.
Yeah, I don't think they're that great looking. Just from pictures I've seen of them and seen them in videos and stuff like this, I can't remember seeing one in person in a gun shop or. Chiappa's never at the Great American Outdoor Show, so I wouldn't have seen one there either.
No, we had a
They
gun
were
show
shot.
here. We had a gun show here probably about 2 years ago. I think was the last time I went. And they had one of those rhinos in there. Damn, that thing was ugly. I ain't been to a gun show since I went to Tulsa.
No, I haven't either. And I'm going to miss Tulsa
Yeah.
next month.
Too close to NRAM, isn't it?
Yeah, I could go, but that's just extra money I'd have to spend. And I don't think very many people are coming to the spring show this year. Fall
I don't
show,
think-
yes.
Clover ain't going. Ghost ain't going.
Mm-mm.
You're not going. Snob will be the only one to be there. Snob and
I don't think Snob's going either. He says if he did, it'd just be to pick up something in particular, not to, spend a day or two. That's me. I don't have any extra money to go buying stuff at a gun show. And
Hell
2
no.
weeks after that, I got to go to Indianapolis and spend money.
Who wants to swing by here and pick me up for Indy? Otherwise, I ain't going. I got approved.
I'll meet you halfway.
I have no way of getting there. Amy's got to work, so I have no way of getting there.
I wouldn't mind going to that thing that Jason and them are going to down in where is it? Kentucky, Tennessee, I think it is, Jason.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee
Yeah.
with Jamie and the boys.
Well, is anybody coming from PA to NRAM?
Not that I know of.
I thought Guns and Barbecue said something about it.
Oh, hell, that'll be out of his way to have to come down here.
I don't think he's driving.
No.
He might. You never know.
If she could have got off, we were talking to Chris about meeting up with him at his place and then driving out the rest of the way with them, but not going to be able to. Like I said, she can't go.
They have these new things now. They're called planes that you can get on. You just get in.
If I take a plane, I won't be able to get a hotel room.
Well, at least you'd be there. I mean, you can sleep out on the street. It's not that big a deal.
It's not San Francisco. Come on.
Yeah, see, you'd be safe. It's Indy. It's the Midwest, for crying out loud. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. They might throw me in jail.
No.
What about Black Cat? Isn't he going?
I hadn't heard if he is.
If he is, he's in northern PA anyway.
You just need to get a hold of Single Shot and catch a ride with him. He's probably cutting right by. He drives right across Ohio, one edge to the other, like a couple times a week.
If you get over to Squib's coming down.
Well, if I get over to Squib, I might as well. I'd be at Chris's before I'd meet up with Squib.
Yeah, you'd be in Indy quicker than getting to Squib.
Yeah, right.
G23's offering up my Jeep. That's nice of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that.
That's called private vehicle security.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My Jeep will be there. You could mail yourself to Indy, Rich.
Yeah.
Make sure and allow plenty of time because the post office tends to run a little slow on their deliveries.
Yeah,
So.
Use Amazon.
Remember that night when you, Snob, and we stayed up and we were looking at flights to Indy from where we all live?
Uh-huh.
It would be quicker for me to hitchhike to Indy than to take a plane.
Take a Greyhound.
No, that would take too long.
Those are always fun to ride on.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I rode a Greyhound from Fort Benning, Georgia here. If it comes to going to Indy or on the Greyhound or staying home, I'm staying home. I've done my share of Greyhound. I work for that company. I know what the hell goes on.
Yeah, going anywhere on the Greyhound, I'm staying home.
But you meet the most interesting people on a Greyhound.
Yeah, but some of those people you don't want to meet.
Well, they want to meet
Sometimes
you.
you just can't unmeet somebody.
Oh, my God. From, where was it? Charleston, South Carolina to Charlotte, North Carolina on the Greyhound. There was this asshole in front of me just kept singing freaking church songs the whole time. And it's like, dude, would you shut up? It's like 5 hours 6 hours on the Greyhound with this guy in front of me singing these things. Like, dude, shut up. Guy singing was kind of like Snob. Imagine being in the car with Snob with him singing for 5-6 hours.
I have been.
That's what this dude in front of me was like.
I'd have ripped some wiring out of that bus and guillotined him right behind him. Reached right around the seat, strangled him.
I couldn't even switch seats because it was a full fucking bus.
I'd rip the stoplight wires out of that bus, strangle him with it.
You could always go do one of those GoFundMe things. I think there's probably still time.
Last time I tried doing a GoFundMe for something, I didn't get a single contribution.
Just tell them you had another Wii accident.
Oh, hell. I think the one I had's bad enough, Buck. I don't know if you saw this or not yet. They got me wearing on my arm.
What do they keep saying? You had a Wii accident? Did you
Yeah.
throw the remote through the TV?
No, I tore at least the tendons in my elbow, maybe a ligament.
He hurt himself playing Wii hockey.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. Hey,
Major sports injury, man.
yeah. Fucking esports injury. Esports is an actual thing. If you don't know if you guys know what that is.
If that wasn't the most embarrassing part of it, then the VA claim is
I did not make a VA claim for that. Now you've been hanging around Ghost too much. He's the one that tried starting that bullshit.
Did the VA donate that Wii to you?
No.
See, they need to have a good claim.
That's right.
Yeah, I sat here trying to figure out a way to connect that to my service connected disability, but I can't figure out a way to do it.
It's your comfort console.
My service related isn't mental, so that wouldn't work. I probably could get a depression or something on there.
Just tell everybody that you identify as a video game now. Probably a gender.
Yeah.
Tell
There's
the VA
52 different ones.
Tell the VA your comfort animal, is that what they call them?
Support animal.
Support animal. Your support animal ate your airplane ticket to NRAM. And you don't want to know if they got a program or something to help you out.
Yeah. I don't think that works that way either.
You can
Donate
tell them
today
you'll send them some
Tunnels to
evidence
Indy.
as soon as the dog gets rid of it.
We ain't got a dog.
Well, your cat, service cat or whatever.
There you go, service cat. You got enough of them around there.
Yeah.
My wife, our one cat, actually, her therapist has our one cat as a service animal for her.
Your cat's therapist?
No, my wife's therapist.
Oh.
Yeah, the cat, my wife's therapy cat has a therapy cat. After having to deal with my wife. No, she's not in the room, because otherwise you would hear her yelling right about now.
Yeah, George is my service cat.
my wife has depression issues because of what she went through as a kid. We've been through it before. I'm not going into that again now. So her therapist wrote up when we were living in the townhouse, said we didn't have to pay the deposit for the cat because if you have an animal, you had to pay a deposit in case they damaged the property or whatever. Because my wife's counselor wrote it up that she was her service animal, we didn't have to pay the deposit on the cat.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have to pay deposit and extra on the rent, but I kind of made friends with the landlord guy that runs the place because I found out that he liked guns too, and I told him what I did. And after we chit-chatted a while, he says, "Yeah, I'm not going to charge you anymore for your cat." So sometimes it helps to be a gun guy, you know. Use it to your advantage. Make friends.
I used to do that until they threatened to throw me in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There is that.
yeah.
Be careful.
G23 says he'd have a service cat, except neither of his will go get him a beer. That would be a cerveza cat, not a
That's
service.
what you got a wife for. Ooh.
Yeah. And you got a legitimate reason, man. It hurt. You know, you can use the injury to say that it hurts to get up, have her make you a sandwich or get you a beer. Yeah. So you ain't milking this right, G23. I'm telling you. Wood says he has a black cat that is his familiar, but not his pet. He says he's a demon, not a cat.
Oh, I had one of them once. Well, had it for 18 years. That cat was evil, boy. Evil.
Just remember the entire time your cat's being nice to you and rubbing up against you. In the end, they're just waiting for you to die so they can eat you. So
Mm-hmm.
if you ever see them look at you and lick their lips, it's a sure sign. It's like, you about ready to go there, bud?
Cats don't care. Once you're dead, you're just meat to them.
And I'm not going to care at that point either.
Man, it would really suck if you're laying there sleeping really soundly and your cat thinks you're dead. You wake up, you got a chunk out of your foot. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, you stupid cat?
I think I'd notice, but maybe not. It might wake me up.
Some people, you can set a bomb off and they won't wake up.
Depends on the noise. I have learned to ignore the things that I hear the most often. But some really weird things will wake me up. Like if I hear a text come in on my phone a lot of times, it's like, dang it, who was it? That's why I put it in do not disturb mode when I sleep, because I will wake up if I hear that. So,
Yeah.
but somebody could be out in the hallway hammering something on the wall. That wouldn't bother me.
When we first moved to West Virginia, we were living in this cabin out in basically the country. We were living on the side of a mountain, basically, and it was dead quiet at night, and I could not sleep. So I was so used to like cars driving by and stuff, and it was just like dead silence, and I could not get to sleep because it was too quiet.
I always have a fan running. That way I don't hear those little pops and stuff at night.
Dude, I used to live directly, and I mean directly, I mean 20 feet from my privacy fence was the railroad, on a very busy railroad. And you got used to it, man.
Yeah, you do.
You'd be in the backyard, friends over, whatever. Y'all just start talking louder till that train goes by. Middle of the night or whatever, it just got to the point where it didn't even affect you, didn't even bother you.
My sister used to live basically what was in the glide path of the Austin airport at the time. And yeah, when those planes would come in for a landing, they would make a heck of a noise overhead. But yeah, after a while, you kind of got used to that sound too.
Yeah, the one house we lived in was right in the flight path going into Pittsburgh International. You had the jets flying over our house all the time.
Yeah, when we was growing up, we had our house is right next door to the police station, and we had fire department a block away. But right there at the police department, they had one of them the old fire sirens,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing would go off and get hung up and blast for about an hour or two at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, if you can sleep through that, you can sleep through anything.
I could not sleep through that. We had when we were living in town at before we moved to her grandmother's house, when we were actually living in the town, that damn volunteer fire department siren was basically right in our back freaking yard. They would go off 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I'm jerking up I'm jerked awake out of my sleep. Like, what the fuck? It's like, goddamn fire alarm.
Then I lived in this house that was right on the highway, about a block and a half from the traffic signals here in town, and it's going down hills. Them semis would come rolling through here 35, 40 at night, and then that light would turn red. You'd hear this just louder shit hitting them damn brakes.
Man, check this out. I live in a town with 35,000 people. And you know there's only one car, just one car here, that still has that booming, vibrating radio crap that vibrates the windows in your house?
Mm-hmm.
And guess which street he drives down all the time?
Yours.
For a while, that was a kid across the street from me when I lived in the old house. When he was like junior, senior in high school, I knew what time he come home every night. She could boom, 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 boom.
I was behind one day, and they had that vibrating shit pounding, and I was sitting there at the light, and the trunk lock just fell off the car. It just fell right off right from it. It's like, do you see that?
If those cars don't have this shit done right, they'll literally will vibrate their car apart.
Oh,
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I was sitting there, and this whole lock cylinder on the trunk, center of the trunk lid, just fell right out.
That's funny.
We
All right,
were at,
guys. Hey, I'm going to get off of here. The damn
All right, see
hay
you, bro.
fever is killing
okay,
me.
but,
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Hope you get feeling better.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, feel better, but
All right, I'll
bud.
see y'all later.
Yeah.
later. Yeah, we were at one of those custom car shows, and they were having one of those competitions where they see whose car can get the loudest. And honest to God, dude's car was vibrating so much that the front fender, I guess it loosened the bolts that were holding the front fender on enough. The front fender fell off his damn car. Just sitting there, like boom, 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 and then the fender falls off. It's like everybody just starts laughing because the fender fell off the car. But yeah, you will literally will shake your car apart doing that shit.
Yeah, I thought that shit had passed, had been put out to pasture, and never had to deal with it again. But here for a while, we got one holdout left running around.
Yeah, no, around here it's everybody with the damn smokestack exhaust on their pickup trucks making fucking loud ass noises around here.
That's
You
the
probably
nice
heard
thing
them go
about being
by.
up on the third floor of an apartment building and being in the back end of the apartment building. There ain't too many, they'd have to drive down the alley for me to hear them.
Oh, we still got plenty of Hondas with no mufflers at all on the fuckers.
Don't got any of those that I know of anyway. Got the ones where they put the damn glass packs on their fucking little Hondas, making them sound loud as hell that way. But none without a muffler altogether. Actually, it's little Hondas that they do it too around here. You get those cheap Hondas with the freaking loud ass mufflers on them, thinking it makes them cool or something. I guess I don't know.
Oh, there's a handful of little junk Hondas around here. I think just get handed down and passed around among friends, and oh my God, are they? Oh, they've done everything. They lowered them to where the wheels stick out 2 inches extra and tilt all up where they're barely touching the road, and they think they're cool and shit.
So what you're saying is so many miles even Rob D wouldn't drive it.
Yeah, even Rob wouldn't drive it.
Yeah, there was this one time in high school, this one kid, he had just got himself a Chevy Cavalier Z24, and he had the loud exhaust put on it and stuff, and he came to school and thought he was all cool. He pulled up and parked behind me with my Camaro. I went over, started my Camaro, and just gunned it and made him look like an idiot. You could just see his face drop. It's like, yeah, get out of here with that shit. Of course, everybody was laughing at him. Everybody was laughing at him to begin with. Cause everybody, when I went to high school, nobody had newer cars, right? We all had older cars.
Well, that's the way it was when I was in school. The only people who had new cars were either the banker's kids, or if your daddy ran the dealership, you'd be running around with a vehicle with dealer's tags.
Well, even then, the kids whose parents had money, they all had older cars. The latest, when I was in high school, 88 to 92, right? So the the newest car, I should say, that anybody had was probably like an 82 or an 83. And this kid came in, it's probably a 89, 90. This is when I was my senior year. He had an 89, 90, somewhere around there, Chevy Cavalier. And he thought he was just hot shit because he had that Cavalier.
Shoot, I graduated high school in 78, so late 70s, and we still had people that were driving like 57 Chevys and stuff like that.
I had the 69 Camaro. A buddy of mine had a 70 Mustang. One of my other friends had an 82, I think it was, Monte Carlo. Somebody else was driving a 79, what the hell was it? Malibu. He had 79 Malibu. So none of us were driving anything from the 80s except for like one of us, right?
Man, the early to mid 80s was really a good time for cars, because you could get a 4 or 5 year old car back then for really next to nothing, way less than $1,000, because in 4 or 5 years it was already rusted to hell and back, from the front bumper to the back bumper, the bottom of the doors.
Yeah. Oh hell,
there wasn't nothing left.
Back then, you could still pick up a '60s muscle car for fairly cheap too.
Yeah. See, I remember you used to get a car, man, if it had 75,000 miles on it, it was completely worn the fuck out. It was taking a quart of oil a day. It was worn out, but you'd run the shit out of it. But, yeah, you wouldn't even, like, dream, a 100,000 mile car. You're like, there's nothing left of it. And then Honda and everybody started building these 100,000 mile cars, 200,000 mile cars. But back in the day, man, you go buy a new Monte Carlo or something, and just a few years, whole bottoms of the doors completely rusted off of them.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I told you guys, when I got my Camaro, I didn't buy the car. I bought the engine and got the rest of the car for free. I paid $500 for the engine, and the guy threw the rest of the car in because the body was shot to hell. You need to have a whole new body put on it.
Buddy of mine had an old Camaro, like a 71, maybe 71, maybe 72. Wasn't a Z28 or nothing. It was just a regular Camaro. But I remember we took a corner in it. And, he took off from a stop sign doing a burnout. And we went up and turned the first street and fishtailed it. And half of the frame just fell out of the ground out of the back of it.
Where the engine mounts would break loose and the engine hit the damn road.
Oh, gosh. I had one do that to me. I had a 64 Buick Skylark. And I turned out on this country road that was a perfectly straight, new paved road and used to, drive fast on it. I just turned on that road and punched it and floored it. And the motor twisted up, broke a motor mount. And when the motor twisted, it pulled the transmission lever like right out of my hand, threw it all the way down, had a power glide in it, threw it all the way down into low, floored it, and it jammed up the linkage. So I had the throttle stuck all the way to the floor, just pulled away from my foot. Tranny shifted itself down into low gear, and it was floored. You couldn't get to stop. I was on a hell ride for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Ford truck that wasn't drag racing, but I was pulling. Had a whole big load on a trailer behind it. Yeah, we were running to the junkyard, and I started up a hill, and I popped a motor mount, and when it broke the motor mount, and the motor twisted, the rod fell out of the truck that pushes your clutch. So I stuck, pointed uphill on a hill with a full load and the truck. Some lady stopped in like a Chevy Suburban. She said, "You want me to help you pull you up the hill?" I said, "No." She goes, "I got plenty of power." I said, "You ain't got that much power."
Oh, man. Another friend of mine, he had a Malibu too, but he had a 82. He put a 454 in there. And he took it out to the drag strip. He got that 454 right after he put it in there and just completely twisted the frame and cracked it in like 3 different places. It's like,
You
way to
remember
go
what
there,
Chevy? Remember what a Chevy Monza was?
Yeah.
It was my mom's boyfriend's son, and they knew what they were doing and everything. And we built drag race engines, and we built a pretty hot little 350 Chevy, pretty hot little motor. It was probably pushed close to 400 horse. That was pretty good back in the day. And we dropped that down into a Chevy Monza, a nice Chevy Monza too. Well, nothing wrong with it. Well, the 4-cylinder it was in, we broke the camshaft in half in it. So we ditched the 4-cylinder and put that 350 in there. Beefed everything up, the whole car. Bought headers that was supposed to fit it, but he had to remake the headers, and everything was fine. And car had plenty of power. And you'd like put too much of a stall converter in it. You could just like touch the gas pedal at a stop sign, and it just light them 13-inch tires up. I mean, you just sit there like you were on ice, just idling, just burning out the tires in it. But we put a bigger rear end in it and fixed it all up. And that had so much torque when it got traction, it cracked the car. When you lifted up the back seat, it cracked the floor completely across the back of that car underneath the seat. Cracked the metal.
That's
Wasn't
basically what happened to his
rusted.
Malibu.
Yeah, wasn't rusted, wasn't junk. This was a pretty car. It twisted it to where the doors wouldn't open and close. That's how screwed up it did. But they kept trying to fix it. Check this out. They're moving of the header pipes. They got a little too close to the starter, and it melted the starter. the solenoid, it made the starter engage while the engine was sitting there running. And
That's
it
not
just
good.
grinded up the starter. And when the starter actually caught the flywheel and gave it a jerk, it broke the starter off the block. It cracked and broke out the bolt holes that held the starter into the block.
Jeez.
So that whole engine got ruined. I mean, it was a hell of a good running engine, had the best parts of everything in it, and we ruined the block in it.
We told the idiot with the Monte Carlo, dude, you're gonna have to put cross beams on there to reinforce the frame. He's like, no, it'll be fine. He's like, dude, you're gonna have to put cross beams on there to reinforce that frame. He's like, the car wasn't built for that 454. It was built for a goddamn 305 or a 350. He's like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, okay. Sure enough, he got out there on the drag strip and he gunned it with that 454 and cracked that frame just like we told him he was going to. Some people don't listen. Now, that Chevy you're talking about, I don't know if you could have put cross beams. I don't know if you had enough room left in that frame to put any more frame.
Not really.
It was a funny car. Like, you couldn't really hardly buy a lot of parts for it. You had to make stuff yourself. Like they had jegs and stuff back in, but it the hot rod scene wasn't like it is now. You know what I mean? There just wasn't all these parts already made to bolt on your car, and especially that kind of car.
Putting cross beams, you just take basically a steel tube, and you just weld it to the frame to reinforce it.
We bought a engine mount kit from Hooker, the same people that make headers, back in the day. That's one of the only things you could get for that car, and you ended up welding on some blocks to the front part of the front clip and the front frame area of those little cars, and then you put some other brackets on it there, and you actually mounted the engine in there off the water pump bolts.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, the regular V8 motor mount bolts, your little motor mounts, and the place they bolt on the bottom sides of the block. There's like nothing there in that car. That's like open space. There's no way to. The cross beam is in head front of the engine instead of like underneath the middle of it, and there was no way to put it in there. So that's how they did it.
No way to put another piece of frame in there, huh?
No, not really. Not without just building a full tube frame race car. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you couldn't even just weld one on as an add-on.
Those cars was just.
Yeah, they're too small.
Yeah, but the thing was, a lot of people done shit with Vegas,
Oh yeah.
and those were kind of easy to work with. But the Monza was just a different car, and
Yeah, Vega. People would be surprised how much room you got under the hood of a Vega.
I drove a Chevette. There wasn't much room under there.
No, there was no room in a Chevette.
I drove that thing home in a snowstorm from Texas when I was coming back in 80. And I noticed, there's kind of, where they'd taken a snowplow and gotten part of the snow off. It was a little bumpy, So you'd hear bump, 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 bump as you hit these clumps of snow and stuff on the road. Well, as I got closer to home, it got to be worse and worse. And I mentioned something to my dad about it when I got home. I said, it's riding a little rough. And he said, well, why do you mean? So I told him, he said, well, let's open up that hood and take a look. Well, the shock mounts came up through the wheel wells and extended into the engine compartment. Well, evidently it had bumped enough that it broke off part of the body panels around the wheel well on both sides. So there's really nothing, no spring or nothing holding them damn shocks.
Nothing holding the shock in at that point.
No. What? I've seen that happen. You know what's holding it in there? Your hood. I've seen him lift up and dent the hoods upward a little bit.
He told me, he says, you better think about trading that car pretty soon, kid. I said,
A friend of a friend of mine had one of those two-door Chevettes. And 6 of us piled in that thing to go to Pizza. We went to Pizza Hut. And the Pizza Hut parking lots at the one that we used to go to, the spaces were like going to one of these modern parking lots where you got like 2 feet to park the car in. And he was having a hell of a time getting the car into the slot. So we all got out of the car and we basically manhandled it into the parking spot. These things were light as hell.
I had a couple of Chevettes. Friends of mine all had them. Back in the day, there was only 3 cars that majorly ran around, and everybody owned at least 1 or 2. You either had a Chevette, an Escort, or an Omni.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 cars for a 4 or 5 year period, everybody and their brother had one.
I don't know how many Ford Escorts my uncle's wife killed. She would just run them into the ground.
I was in a bar one time shooting pool, and I'd been in there a while. I come out, and my car wasn't in the parking spot. I thought, what the hell? Then my buddy pointed down the sidewalk, and evidently some kids had picked up my car and set it on the sidewalk while I was in there as a joke.
My wife, when she was
I got in to drive it off there, and as I'm driving off the curb, a police car come by and kind of slowed down. I just rolled down my window. I looked at him. I said, somebody set my car up on the sidewalk. I had to drive it off. He just shook his head.
Yeah. My wife was a senior in high school. They had prank day, and some of the kids in her class put the principal's car in the gymnasium. And there is proof of this because there's a picture of it in her senior yearbook.
Yeah, those Chevettes, it didn't take too many people. I think 4 of them could lift it up.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. The principal was driving was a Chevette. They put the car in the gym. If it wasn't a Chevette, it was one of that style of car because there were a couple different varieties that were similar to it. You had the Volkswagen
Only car
Rabbit,
I ever owned that had crank windows, and you could uncrank the passenger side window without even bending over. I mean, all you had to do is reach your right arm over there and crank the window down. Didn't need power windows.
I'm pretty sure it was a Chevette. And this was like 93 was her senior year, and her principal was still driving this old Chevette. Pretty sure it's what it was. It looked like one anyway. Couldn't really see the...
Yeah, Plymouth Horizon, Dodge Omni.
Uh-huh.
The 2 doors were Turismos and Chargers. I tell you what, man, them little 2.2 Dodges, man, them little things run like hell, man. Those were some running sons of bitches. If you could rev them up good enough.
I think I actually ran a Ford Escort in a quarter mile one time. You know, kids tend to want to run a quarter outside of town. Well, we had one like all towns do. Well, this kid had a Ford Escort and he wanted to go. He said, you want to run them? I said, yeah, I'll go run them. It's about probably the slowest quarter mile you ever saw in your life. But
I don't know. I saw somebody run a Geo Metro in a quarter mile.
Now, I lost this Escort, believe it or not, but I had previously beaten a Ford Pinto. But I don't think the kid knew how to drive it because he wasn't shifting it right. Because, well, I had an advantage. I had a standard transmission, and he was running an automatic. And you got to know what you're doing to run a quarter mile on an automatic. So,
my brother's first car was a Ford Pinto, and he called me one day. He was broke down in front of this little store in town. His car overheated. So I went down there to help him out, and I popped the hood, and there ain't no fan belt on it. Right? And I was like, well, there ain't no water
Well,
pump
there's your
belt,
problem.
right? Oh yeah, I took that off to save gas.
Oh, for crying out!
Swear to God,
Oh, good
swear to
Lord.
God,
Now,
took it off to save gas. I put it back on right there on the side of the road.
I've heard of people doing that before, but you usually put a different size belt on there to bypass the pulley. But
Yeah, he was trying to get rid of power steering and stuff, save
yeah,
gas,
that don't work too
and
well.
didn't
Yeah, it
have the
don't work
belt
that
turn
way.
the water pump.
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe
the
if you're
old
going
boys.
downhill and only downhill, you're like,
It's like the old boys in the wintertime. If they couldn't get the heater to heat up enough, they'd take a piece of cardboard and stick in front of the radiator. Then forget to take it off in the springtime. Car would overheat.
yeah, that'll do it. That's about the same as putting too much tape on the front of your NASCAR race car.
Uh-huh. You name it, I've probably seen it done to a car.
Yeah, tell you about the Pinos. My one buddy in high school, he had the Pinot station wagon. It was green with that fake wood grain on it. We
Had
were
the little
going,
moon roof on the side, or the moon window, a little opera window almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we were taking his car to go to the movies one time. We're going out Interstate 376 from Pittsburgh to Monroeville because I'd gotten free movie tickets to, I forget what the movie was. We're going downhill and we're hitting 60 going downhill, and we just got cars flying by us. It's like crazy. We were in the right-hand lane the whole way out to the movie theater. That car hit 60 going downhill, and it wouldn't go any faster than that. That car had a terrible engine in it. This is when he first got it. After a while, him and his dad put a different engine in that thing, and then they put a V6 in it, and that thing would just fly after that. That little 4-cylinder that it had in there to start with, that thing had no guts to it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like that. What the heck year was it? 96 Ford Ranger I had. And I bought one with a 4-cylinder in it. And that thing was just useless.
Yeah, those little 2.3 Rangers like that, you basically floor it all the way to the floor and then just shift gears. And by the time you get 4th, 5th gear, you'll be up 55 mile an hour.
But heck, it didn't even get good mileage. It's like, why in the world did you even put a 4-cylinder in here?
Mm-hmm. Krabby said, talking about I guess he's talking about the AMC Gremlin. They're going back to the whole puppy that's so cute, it's so ugly, it's cute. That was the AMC Gremlin. They were so ugly.
Is that the wedge car?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That and a Pacer.
Not as bad as the Pacer, though.
God.
The cockroach fish tank bowl looking car.
Yeah, and in the summertime, you couldn't keep them cool. There's no way. They had too damn much window glass on them.
Mm-hmm. Chris from the 740 joined them out there in the side chat. So, evening, Chris.
Him and I was in a couple chats yesterday.
Krabby says it was the same with the 4-cylinder S10. Yeah.
Yeah.
My boss at Giant Eagle had the 4-cylinder S10. He had that engine pulled and put the V6 in it. Totally different vehicle after he put the V6 in it. Was it 3.6 V6? I think it was. Or was that a 3.8 that the S10's option? I don't remember now. It's been so long.
I don't remember either.
S10 V6s, the early S10s, those were 2.8 liters.
Oh, this was a later one.
Well, they ran it for a while, but yeah, the Chevy version was a 2.8. And then later, the 3.8s, those are built off of the Buick-based engine. And it's a little too big fitting an S10. like the Grand National Motors,
Yeah.
Buick Regal,
Oh yeah, I
36
know.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I had one of those in my
Yeah,
Monte
those are
Carlo.
3/8. Yeah, but the 2.8, that's like a 60-degree block or something, and that's a little smaller motor.
But my '84 Monte Carlo had a Buick 3.8 in it.
Oh, Ozzy had a Ford Escort. I tell you what, this is how shitty technology was back in the day. You know what was cool about the Ford Escorts? They had a shift light in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
That was the pinnacle high point of convenient technology in your vehicle. Had a little arrow telling you to shift up, like you didn't know to shift or something.
Yeah, Chris said the 2.8 was terrible in the S10. He's glad they replaced it with the 4.3.
On 4.3 was a damn good motor.
That might have been what he had in his.
That's really a 305 Chevy missing 2 cylinders.
Yeah.
It's exactly what that engine is. Like you could take lifters, rocker arms, pistons, any of that stuff out of the V8 and it fits that motor. They just basically cut 2 cylinders off.
Another Chevy engine that people overlook is the old 250, the inline six. I don't know how many speedometers my stepfather broke in a Nova with a 250 in it.
Oh man, those old inline sixes, the Dodge Slant 6, the Ford 300, and the Chevy, those old engines run good. Run forever too. I mean, not extremely, rev happy and powerful, but run the same on day one as they do 20 years later. They just run like an old tractor, man.
Oh, the 250 that he had in his Nova, that thing came out of a pickup. That thing had torque for days. And he would just, and then once you got it up and running, that thing would just fly. I don't know how many, like, honest to God, I lost count of how many speedometers he broke. He was constantly having these repairs, get to either repair or replace the speedometer in the damn thing. The speedometer went up to 120.
Yeah, an old stray sixes are good motors. But you got to remember the cars, most of the places speed limit was only 55 back then. You know what I mean? And he just, you didn't have to have overdrive and all this fancy stuff on your cars and high revving and shit.
Not at 55, really. Yeah.
But
most of them wouldn't pull it in overdrive.
Yeah, quite a few times. We'd be going downhill in that Nova, and the speedometer would go right this side. Whoop, boom. You just see the speedometer going up, 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 and then boom, and then we go right back down again. And it wouldn't move after that. Just, whoop, you killed another one.
Oh yeah, I had a few that got busted, and they'd bounce around 20, 30 miles an hour the whole time, so you had no idea how fast you're going anyways.
The way the one in the Nova went, it would go up. It would go from 0. He would get it up to about 90, 95, and it would go straight down, and then the needle wouldn't move after that. It just would not move. It's just dead at 0.
Man, I tell you what, I had a car once that I couldn't blow up. Know what it was? Volkswagen. I was working at the car lot in Columbus, and they got a Volkswagen in there. It was in fine shape. It was spray painted primer gray. Remember primer gray?
Mm-hmm.
And then they took like a paintbrush or marker. Remember the IROC Z Camaros? They wrote IROC V on the bottom of the door. And I don't know what they gave him, like nothing for it, all right? And I seen it, and I was looking at it. Well, I had a good friend of my mom's who I always was working on one of hers. I knew she needed a new distributor. You know what I mean? She needed a new distributor for hers. And that was sitting there, and I was like, how much you guys got in that? What do you want for it? believe it or not, they only had like $70 in it or some shit. And I was like, I want it. And they were like, what do you want it for? I said, well, I need it for some parts and stuff. And I ended up giving them like, I forget altogether, $115 or something. And I took this and they're like, what are you going to do with this? I said, I'm going to throw a stopwatch in it and floor it and see how long it takes to blow up. Then I'm going to sell the distributor out of it. I couldn't blow the thing up. I ran the living piss out of that thing from the moment I got it. I was living in Columbus, drove it back up here to Marion where I'm at with all my friends. Just ran the piss out of this car over and over and over and couldn't blow it up. Left town, we got my friends lived out in the country from town, about a 10-minute drive, and it's 55 miles. I put it in first gear and never shifted. Drove it the whole way out there, floored. It got to like 35 mile an hour in first gear. Just floored, revved, couldn't blow it up. Got so hot, it locked up, and I thought, oh, the engine locked up. As soon as it cooled down, it started right back up. But tried and tried and tried and could not get that little car engine to blow up. And I drove it for like a whole summer and then ended up selling it to the local pizza place here, and they used it for a delivery vehicle.
So what you're saying is Ferdinand Porsche did a good job when he designed the engines in those things.
That little thing just, I'd never seen one like that. It would take full throttle all the way, just rev up and just never go. It'd never blow up. It'd just go there and stay. Just rev up like a lawnmower engine, stay there. Couldn't hurt that thing. I try. Now that's how it goes. Like you need your car and you don't want nothing to happen to it and you baby it. Yeah, the engine blows up. You got one for basically next to nothing you don't care about. You're trying to have fun, blow it up, and you can't hurt the thing.
That's German military engineering right there, man.
I'd love to have like a little dune buggy thing with one of the motors in it. Oh, I'd love to go zip it around in one of those. Or even a fancy fixed up bug, when you rebody it, you know what I mean? Make like a little roadster or something out of it.
We got those dune buggy clubs around here. We've had people make dune buggies out of them before. Not so much now as 20 years ago, obviously. But.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Volkswagen in a long time, I don't think.
You don't see it very often.
Uh-uh.
Other than those new ones, and that doesn't count.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the bugs.
Right.
Bug. Yeah, you used to see one and punch your brother or sister
punch
in
buggies.
the leg. Yeah.
Another car you could pretty much pick up.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, speaking about weird cars, I think the weirdest thing I ever saw was a Dodge Stealth with a lift kit on it.
Probably a one of a kind.
Yeah. I asked the guy, why did you put a lift kit on a Dodge Stealth? He's like, well, it's all-wheel drive. So I said, what the hell? It's like, okay.
I got one for you. It's a friend of our family's, and it's a friend because his sons I was good friends with. Anyways, it's Jerry. He took a classic hearse, probably like a '69 Cadillac hearse, right? Like the Ghostbusters. Well, a little newer than the Ghostbusters, but an old-fashioned, full-size, great big, huge Cadillac hearse, chrome grills everywhere. You know what I mean? And guess what he did to it? He went and got an Army deuce and a half. Took the body off the deuce and a half and left its frame there. And he took that whole Cadillac hearse frame and everything and put it on top of that deuce and a half frame. And then he went and got like tractor wheels, like Bigfoot and stuff.
Yeah, so basically he turned it into a monster truck.
Yeah, but without any suspension. He like set frame to frame and plates and
Oh,
welded it.
God.
Okay. He drove it for just a little while. It was so tall, he was afraid he was going to drive over top of a car. You couldn't see when you stopped at a stoplight. You couldn't see the cars below
It's
you.
probably
you
like
know?
driving a hardtail Harley too.
Yeah, but it was crazy. It was huge. It was huge, but it was a backwoods, cheap as you could do it, monster truck, man. Tractor tires, decent a half truck, Cadillac hearse sitting on top.
Who was it that sent in that meme on Friday night, Gary, with the car in the bed of the pickup truck?
Was that last week or a week before?
This week.
Was it?
Yeah, it was this week.
Don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know if Jason was there Friday night to see it.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
Well, it was captured like "got to get it home somehow" or something like that. I think it's about time to start wrapping this up for the night.
Yeah, I think Guns and Barbecue is about to go live with his.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
No.
doing a Sunday night at the same time Midnight Range used to at 9:30. He's doing, what's he call it? Not the closer, but what
The
is
reliever?
the reliever? Yeah,
I know Ghost and Clover were doing.
yeah, they're still live too.
Yeah. Probably why we only got 5 people watching right now.
Mm-hmm. And when you said Scotsman didn't go live, and I sent you an email and told you that Bald and Curious went ahead and did a
Did you? I didn't see.
substitute stream, so that probably took a lot of them too.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that you sent me the email. Once I go live, I don't check that email.
Hey, I saw you go live about 5 minutes later. It's like, oh well, I tried to warn him.
Oh well, no big deal.
No, it's not.
Sunday's getting crowded.
I guess so.
There was nobody but me and Yankee for the longest time, and then Midnight would be on after. And everybody and their mother's starting to do Sunday shows.
It's kind of like Friday. I got to get my show in when I do. I got one right before and one right after generally.
Mm-hmm. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Jason?
Nah. Just hope everybody has a good week. Hopefully spring will get here early. And good to hang out with you guys.
Good Lord. It's going to be 70s in the middle of the week here and then right back down to the 40s.
Yeah, it's been cold here
Say
lately.
it's been real cold here.
Yeah, it's in the 20s right now.
But 74 on Wednesday.
That's what it's supposed to be here. It's supposed to be 74, 75 Wednesday or
And a
Thursday.
high of 48 on Friday.
Yeah. That's what it's doing here. The exact same thing.
Must be March.
Yeah. And it's supposed to rain with the possibility of turning into sleet and snow later that night, later around Friday, Saturday this week coming up.
Of course. Why not?
Yeah. So weather can't make up its mind whether it's late spring or late winter. It goes from one extreme to the other.
It reminds me of the time I flew out to California, and it was April the 13th, I believe, is when my flight left Kansas City. And they were talking about closing the airport because of snow. We're talking mid-April, for crying out loud.
Yeah. When we went to Disney World when I was a kid, we were stuck at the airport because Hugo was hitting the Carolinas at that point. And this was the middle of September because it was right around the time of my youngest brother's birthday. We were down there. and it was 80, 85 in Florida, in Orlando. We got back to Pittsburgh, got off the plane in Pittsburgh. It was 35 degrees in the middle of September. That was a wake-up call.
I'll bet.
Yep. How about you, Gary? You got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Oh, just remind everybody, Foul Territory coming up on Friday. I'm going to try to get some videos out this week. Also, not just shorts. I'm going to try to get some long form content out. Appreciate all the views, and I appreciate the invite.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, with that, let me find this outro, and we'll get out of here for the night, and we will catch y'all probably on Gary's show on Friday. I don't have anything coming up this weekend, unless I pass out like I did last week.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, wife gets up 3 o'clock in the morning, wakes me up, like, what? Oh, what time is it? She's like, 3 o'clock. Like, oh shit. All right. Anyway, we'll catch y'all later in the week, and hopefully I will have a couple videos this week. I got a couple I got to get done. I got to get the Mantis X video uploaded from the Great American Outdoor Show. That'll be the last video that I got from the Great American Outdoor Show this year. And then I got to get the video for the review on the Craft Holster up this week or next week. So be on the lookout for both of those videos. And then, like I said, Gary's show Friday, and maybe Rick's show if I can do that Wednesday. I haven't been able to do Rick's show lately because other things have been going on. If he catches this in replay, sorry, Rick. Just, yeah, Saturdays in the afternoon and Wednesday nights have just been bad lately.
Yeah, he didn't do this last Wednesday. He didn't have a show on Wednesday. So
I think Rob did a fill-in.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rob. I wasn't able to be on that either. I did get your link, but yeah, I wasn't able to. So sorry, guys. But hopefully I'll be able to jump on one of those soon. I like going on with Rick. He's fun. Be on his show. So.
Yeah, I ain't been able to catch Rick for a while.
Yeah.
Hey, out there in the chat, Chris from 740, if you're still out there, if you're just listening, check out what I typed to you out there in the chat.
And with that, we'll say good night. Have a good week, everybody. One more time, Gary. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Give him the bird.
All right. Now we'll end it.